This week on Women Who Rise, I'm joined by Brittany Stewart, top 15 agent, powerhouse business owner, and the driving force behind Lux Realty Group in Dallas, Fort Worth. Brittany shares how she's built a thriving real estate business with a relationship-first approach, leveraged AI to stay ahead of the market, and created a team culture that feels like family. If you've ever wondered how to grow your business without losing your balance, you won't want to miss this inspiring conversation. Hi, everyone, and welcome to Women Who Rise. I'm your host, Heather Mansy. Today, I am thrilled to be talking to Brittany Stewart, the owner and lead agent of Lux Realty Group in McKinney, Texas, and a recognized top 15 agent in McKinney, Frisco, and Little Elm by Fast Expert in 2025. With over 2 decades of real estate experience and broker licenses in both Texas and Florida, Brittany is known for her relationship-first approach, relocation expertise, and data-driven marketing strategies. She's also a sought-after speaker and educator, leading workshops on practical AI for real estate professionals and appearing on industry podcasts to share her insights on leadership, team building, and business growth. Brittany's passion for real estate is matched by her commitment to fostering a supportive, family-style culture within her team, empowering others to rise while maintaining a balanced and intentional life. And I am so pleased to have her here with me today. Welcome, Brittany, and thank you for being here.
Awesome, Heather. Thank you. So excited to be here. And even more proud of you for doing this podcast. So congratulations.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Last time we spoke was actually at an, industry convention. And in fact, that's the first place we met. And I just remember literally the first time we met, I was so impressed by a multi-state organization that you had been able to create with several other women that you carried from, I believe, Keller Williams across through EXP. Your level of just game playing in terms of like strategy among your close-knit group of partners is something I've never seen before. And so I really just kind of want to dive right in with How did the four of you create that collaboration, and how has that sort of changed how you guys individually perform in your businesses over the years?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been in real estate for a long time. And I think when you find real estate friends, real estate besties, it really can change the trajectory. But I just started seeing common themes of things that we were burnt out or complaining about. And I'm that friend, I'm the counselor friend, the go-to friend. And everybody was saying that. And I said, wait, there's got to be more to this. There's got to be more to us all being in these relationships that we're not happy with. And there's more to life for that. So upon discussions, we started exploring different avenues of how we could, instead of having individualistic businesses across these states, and we saw each other once or twice at real estate conventions, how could we really streamline that collaboration instead of everybody building their own machine, building a very large, well-oiled, collaborative organization. And so, Heather, that's really how it came about, was just from hearing everybody come and complain. And I was like, there's got to be more. There's got to be more to this business than that. And so that we were already all really good friends. And we just tried to streamline everything through systems and collaboration and sharing so that we could all expand each other's business and support in different states across the board.
One of the things you mentioned, we've talked about it a couple times, are systems. And I think that's really, you guys greatly refer to one another, and it's very purposeful. You actually, I think, cross advertise or cross promote. You guys have some really robust systems that have helped all of you grow. What do you think is the current most important use of systems like that. I think in any business, and especially in real estate, if you're going to collaborate in that way.
Yeah. I think that starting with what you don't like to do and what you don't do well is the first system you should implement. So, for me, I'm high D. I'm not task oriented. I'm very efficient. My mind is wired for efficiency. Therefore, I have those systems. But essentially, it's starting what you don't do well or what you don't enjoy doing. So, for those CRM, automation, AI, of course, is such a big buzzword. I've been teaching AI all over the place. It is accelerated our business, and that systematizing of anything, the referrals, transactions, relationships, follow-ups, check-ins, all of those. So I would say the first time you want to go under the microscope is look at what you're doing that you don't like doing or that you don't do well, and start with those systems. Right then and there.
Basically, choose where your weaknesses are and create a system around that will help you either have accountability or support, or in fact help you delegate that to, who knows, machine learning or whatever that looks like. And we'll be able to cover a little more of that here in a minute as well. So I want to go back now. Your journey into real estate spans over 20 years and two states. Can you share maybe your, first foray into real estate? What brought you into the industry? What has kept your industry, or sorry, what has kept your interest all of this time? And what had you span two states?
Yeah, yeah. I'm actually licensed in 3 states still, so we'll chat a little bit about that, but I just started publicly sharing this story, and I think it's really important to tell people. I think that there was a little bit of, I didn't want pity from people, but I started out, I wanted to be a psychologist. I was really adamant about doing so. I went to Florida State. I have a degree in psychology and human science. I joke and say I use it every single day in real estate, but I was, on my way to acceptance and to grad school to get my MSW, and my brother became schizophrenic. And so I really had to pivot that trajectory. I just felt like it hit too close to home. At the time, I was a crisis counselor, volunteering as well. So I knew what that onset and that diagnosis meant. The minute I spoke to my brother, he and I are very close. And I've been his caretaker ever since. And I just felt overwhelmed and exhausted with knowing that I was going to have a lifetime, patient of my own. And the fact that I was going to be able to expand that beyond just did not seem reasonable financially or for my mental bandwidth. And so I quickly thought, okay, I have, at the time my brother was 23, I have this grown adult that I have to care for, and grad school just didn't seem an option. I didn't have housing on campus that was going to allow him, all of those things. So I always loved real estate, but I thought to myself, like, okay, what am I going to do? The job market in 2004 wasn't the greatest, especially with just a bachelor's in psychology and human sciences. So I set forth the path to get my real estate license, and I expedited that process because I now had an adult that I had to provide for. And
Yeah.
so that really and truthfully is what pivoted to a change of my trajectory in my career, what I thought was going to be my career path. So um, that's
It's
what I
interesting you're saying that, because it's true that real estate draws a lot of people. In fact, many entrepreneurship opportunities draw people who need a different balance or flexibility in their life. And what can be an incredible challenge can end up to be something that's really fruitful in the end. And that were able to find any vehicle that would allow you to care for a family member at that level, but then also have one that allowed you to thrive. That's incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. And I joke about real estate. I tell myself every day, I love my job. I love my job. I love my job. So that's how I kept it for 2 decades. Now that everyone can calculate my age for sure. But I think that, real estate, it is stressful and it is tough. But I think just like you mentioned, Heather, staying highly focused on really what are the blessings and the joys that being an entrepreneur in real estate, a successful entrepreneur can bring. We always try to ensure that, of course, it does have that time flexibility. It does allow me to, caretake. I've now have my brother in an independent, property that an investment property that I bought. There's a lot of things that I've been able to do to gain his independence and also my sanity. But also, in addition to that, and you just making sure that you can step away for doctor's appointments. You can go on vacation together. You can have experiences and exposures, but focusing on the blessings that come with being an entrepreneur in real estate, I think is extremely important and imperative to have that gratitude integrated into the fabric of what you're doing every day, because it can be pretty stressful, especially in tougher markets like we have right now.
Yes. I think it's such a perfect moment for you to have brought that up because yeah, I mean, I run a team, you do as well. It's, we have people, I've got agents that are stressed. They have a client who just rolled off, and it really is like, what are your gratitudes every morning? And like you said, just, put your brain around the fact these are good problems to have.
Right.
Some people have problems of where is my next meal coming from, or how do I, get out of a difficult relationship or whatever that is. We have a problem of, yeah, my job is kind of stressful. And sometimes, the clients are not in line with, with the market or vice versa. We have an incredible opportunity still. And we have the most, I think, empowerment and ability to change and move that needle in our own lives, different than jobs that would, cap or limit what you're allowed to do in your own productivity. So when it comes to, keeping your interest and having important partnerships, I love to ask, what other strategic partnerships, whether even that's programmatic stuff, or if it's lenders and title or whatever that is, what other strategic partners have you had, or even coaching, that has allowed you to thrive and get to the level you're at today?
Right. I think that, of course, I've had some phenomenal coaches and some great input with local vendors, but I think that what has really allowed me to leverage and keep that mentality balance has been leverage through virtual assistants, through my team. One of the tactics that I started utilizing last year that has been such a pivotal position for me has been production partner, and it's kind of the new age team growth. So I have a macro team where I do have the traditional setup of teams and buyers agents and leads, but I also maintain some of that business and referral business, the luxuries of listings for myself. And in doing so, offsetting that to a production partner. So I think that has been probably the most pivotal thing that I can do, even as a single mom, especially, is having that production partner alliance, and allows me to go on the listing appointment, the buyer consult, but then showings, and ensuring that my TC, my virtual assistants, manage the transaction efficiently. When you start doing higher volume, that production partner is really key.
That's incredible. And I love the title. To be honest, you're teaching me something today. I mean, I feel like I learned so much in every one of these episodes. But production partner, just kind of the way you're saying that. You do have an incredible and robust, I think, luxury business yourself. And it is one of those things where the owner certainly is going to have more sway, I think, and be really tougher to compete with in any market where luxury can be very difficult to lock down. They might want someone that is a figurehead or is seen as having multiple decades of industry experience. And so you are obviously a natural fit for that. I do maintain some of the luxury here too. But I think that's great because you're able to increase your own profitability at a time when, like you say, we just came out of some very difficult years. This year has been a great recovery, but at the same time, it's kind of a soft recovery, and there's still some challenge in the market. It's not 2020 today or whatever. So
No, no.
we don't have we we don't have that fortune. We get to be the hard workers over here.
Right?
So I want to talk about, was there, you built a top producing real estate team. Was there a defining moment, perhaps a shift in market trends, technology, or personal mindset? I mean, literally right before we got on camera, you were talking about a workshop that you went to with a coach we both know that, created some shift or some change for you. Are there some things that put you on a path that you're finding is particularly fruitful right now, other than the production partner?
Yeah, I think that some pivotal career wise mindset shifts that I had. One of them was joining my current brokerage, EXP. I think that I was a very big fish in a small pond, and I was quite frustrated with that. I wanted somebody to learn from, and I felt like my energy was being sucked out of every room that I walked into versus being poured into. And so I think that that was really monumental for me in my business and growing a team. I really had a very small team, not a highly functioning team, until I joined EXP. And I just put myself in rooms with these huge collaborators and people who had already paved the path for me to walk down. And it was almost a light bulb moment like, why are we reinventing all of these things? It's like real estate's the only industry we're doing this. So I just started shadowing and asking a lot of questions and attending events of people who were smarter than me. And maybe they are building a business that isn't my desire to that stake, but I can learn so much by scaling down even what they're doing, by setting this path and allowing myself and my team the position to scale if I grow into that. So I think that that was really, really huge. And another thing that we were just talking about, Heather, before we came on here, we have a mutual coach that's also a friend, Wayne Solomon. And I attended one of his events, and it's not real estate specific, but it's entrepreneur and business owners all around. You kind of sit on a hot seat, talk about a challenge that you have, and they grill the heck out of you and really make you think and open up doors and clear out some cobwebs and corners that you didn't have. But again, it's just because things are done a certain way doesn't mean that's how it has to continue to be done. And if you feel a pain point in your business or in your life or relationships or parenting, really explore that. Things don't have to stay the way they are just because, they're like that. You've got to take that extra step to make a change, a pivotal change. So I would say that those have been some very recent things that have really allowed me to think differently and also accelerate the leverage. And speaking with that with Wayne, I was exposed to a fractional director of operations or fractional anything, executive assistants or accountants or financial advisors. Whereas this business model we might not have the capacity financially to hire a full-fledged director of operations for $300,000. Maybe I can share that DOO with other agents or other business owners, and they can still consult with me and take those top level task and really look at my business and analyze how I can be more profitable, how I can be more efficient, how I can really get to the goals that I want to get to.
Yeah, I love that. Fractional ownership. This is something that I spoke recently with Jen Dillard about. She's been really spearheading some efforts on that on the back end, and I think this is incredible. So, being able to do this either with the partnerships that you currently have, or even leveraging outside organizations that offer this kind of thing. And then there was another thing you pointed out earlier, and that's the use of VAs. I white label VAs. I have I own Excellence VAs now, and it's just been amazing for my company. You and I both know Mike Nelson and Justin Nelson of Sphere Rocket so well, and it's really incredible what that company has done in the VA space with so much more training. And I think, if someone has had an experience that's not really working with a VA, I would literally question to just, try another one, try another
Yeah.
company, try another VA, because it's, it's kind of like salad dressing. You can't hate them all.
Right?
You
Right.
know,
I
you
love that.
gotta reach out and try a few things there. So in building Lux Realty Group, what do you think was one of the biggest challenges that you faced? And I'll just quote one of my past coaches here, Ben Kinney, used to say, why did I never? People ask me, why did I never sell this or that company when things were hard? And it's because no one ever asked me on the right day, or in his case, the wrong day. But so, what were some times when you thought, okay, I have a real challenge here. I don't know if I want to stay in this industry or not. And what do you think, as a person, maybe on the inside, that allowed you to make that shift and stay in place? Was it procedure? Was it a mindset shift? I'm sure you can name quite a few over 20
Right.
years
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
industry.
Absolutely. I started growing my team organically, not intentionally. And I allowed people, because of their presence and convenience, to be on my team. And it was a huge mistake. And so I think that that was one of the biggest things that I had to get clear on was, what are my values and what are the avatar of people who work well and make my lives bigger and better. And I went through EOS and found my value propositions. I did have a coach at the time, Sarah D'Angelo, who really helped me discover what core values are important to me. So that was a good catapult into that. And Heather, to be honest with you, I get approached probably almost daily for people to join my team, and I just don't do it. I only want to surround myself and have people on Lux Realty who align with those values. And if they don't, that's okay too. It's great because at EXP, they can be in my organization. They don't necessarily need to be on my team. Um,
So true.
Yes, but I've learned you want to people please and you almost want to just let people into your circle, and you cannot. You get to a certain point in your life, and I don't know if it's experience, if it's age, I don't know what it is, that you have to be extremely intentional on who you're allowing to that. So I have my core values, my 5 core values, and if I hear or note when I'm interviewing, or I always have them take the disc profile, and it's not a right or wrong. It's, are they going to align with the energy and the family and the culture that we have here and now? And so that, Heather, and knowing that it's okay to say no. It's okay to say no to people. It's okay to say no to attendance. It's okay to say no to clients. And I realized I'm very direct and blunt, but I'm also a people pleaser, and I'm
Yeah.
learning what that means.
Yes, and I've witnessed, both. I'm literally taking some notes here because so much of what you said is gold. And I've known and I've seen you be blunt, and you can command a room. And at the same time, I have known from minute one that I've met you, you are an extremely generous and kind person, and this goes hand in hand. And there are times that I've met people and they say, I don't know that I could be a good business owner because I'm too nice. And it's, you can cultivate those other skills. And sometimes it's just using logic. Like you said, you went through the EOS program or whatever, you found your core values, and you literally just created a system, maybe for that thing. Like you said,
Right.
if that was your weak link,
Yep.
that goes back to that kind of brilliance that you said earlier on, which is that you created a system to make sense of and, create boundaries around something that maybe you were more naturally prone to do, which is just kind of open doors, open arms, and let people in, and recognizing that that actually can tank your business. I mean, I think, honestly, personnel is certainly one of the hardest things that I have all entrepreneurs that I interview and that I know that they struggle with. And it's, coaches will say slow to hire, quick to fire, but also have systems and processes around that. So I think that's incredible. You often talk about community and support within your team. Who inspired that in you as a leader, and what maybe lessons from them have become part of your leadership DNA? And I love this question because sometimes it can even harken back to how you were raised, your family, whatever that is. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, one person doesn't necessarily come to mind. I have a very, very small family. So I feel like, we spend a majority of our time with people we work with. I think that, as well as friends, has been intentional. But I don't know the magic recipe for that, Heather. And what I will say and appreciate, I do think that the filter of the values and alignment has a lot to do with it. But I just co-hosted Build 2025 here in Frisco. And so many of the vendors said, your team is my favorite team. I have people tell me that all the time. There's something special here. And it's not just our agents, it's also our staff. But I also think that that has to do with, if you treat people right and fairly, they will reciprocate, and they will give you loyalty. And I also think being direct and honest with people. Sometimes we'll have conversations at our team meeting, and someone will say something, and I'm like, hey, what core value are you kind of offending of mine right now of the team. And I just had this discussion with my team on Tuesday, and they all said team atmosphere. I said, yeah, because you can almost, if you know your values of your team, of your business, of your family, of yourself, and somebody does something and it kind of ruffles your feathers a little bit, it is very easy for my mind to process that manual on that person and say, hey, this is why this is bothering me. Because in this team, a team atmosphere is really important to the success of this business and the culture of this business. And that doesn't seem like you're being a team player. So that's kind of the filter that I use. I can't say that it's necessarily one person, other than I do think that culture of the team and even of the business, that the filter of EOS and those core values has been really instrumental for me.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And I have kind of a follow-up question to that. And by the way, I love hey guys, let's go back to here's the list, where are you going with that? Is kind of a teachable moment in such the best way, which is, I hear the mom in you as well, which I love because we're both parents. And, it's kind of, hey, let's let you find it on your own, rather than me having to simply list that out. And so in real estate, I think business owners in particular, people who want a team, people who have a team certainly know this. People who own any company actually knows this. But in real estate, because you're dealing with a lot of salespeople who are independent contractors, accountability can be very difficult,
Correct.
even with, and in fact, sometimes your best producers, because they're out in the field a lot. And then
Right.
I don't know what you have in terms of, hey, here's our desk hours, here's our calling hours, here's when you need to show up for this event or that thing. And so where are you finding, does it come back to your core values, or do you think you've hacked accountability for your sales staff? And if so, how?
Right,
Tell us
right.
all.
I can't say I've hacked. I'm always going to learn, because I'm always
Yeah.
learning from everybody else. But um, I have everything in writing. So we have team agreements. And why are they agreements? Because you and I both agreed this is how we are going to show up daily. That includes values. That includes one of my non-negotiables, even with 1099 for me and my team. You agree to come on the team, you're attending team meetings, and you're volunteering. Those to me are two non-negotiables. That's really important to us, is to bring back some sort of significance to our community. And you need to come to the team meeting so that I can see that you're showing up. And I think also, and one of the things that I'm working on that is also a weakness, so I leverage, which is my director of ops, is holding people accountable when it comes to the sales portion of things. So, our standard, having those standards and those KPIs is also important, because you can reference them back. You're pushing the system, you're pushing the agreement, you're not pushing the person. This is what we both agreed to when we came in. You signed on the team, you agreed that you were going to have one of your own personal sale, one team sale, monthly. You agreed you were going to have attendance, and it was going to be top priority for you to come to team meetings. You agreed that a value for you is also contributing and giving back. We volunteered. You didn't show up to our volunteer event. So I think that, but also if you lead by example and you're modeling that behavior, and you have people who align with your core values, it's easier to get that buy-in. Now, does everybody follow the standards of sales every single time? No, but if they're working towards it and they're controllable for it, then yes, we want to all work together with that. But I don't think it's a hack. It goes back to what we were talking about. You can call people out, but sometimes you people please, and you don't want to have those hard conversations. You like Betty Smith. Betty Smith had a bad month.
Yeah.
But that's our job as leaders. And I tell them all the time, I love my business, but I do this is not a charity event. My business is to feed my children.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where I draw the line. So as much as I love you and we want to do this, this is also a business. So
Yeah. And I think that goes to that too. I had a Wailopo training earlier this year, and we had one of my team agents on there. She's helping to be an accountability partner, because I love promoting from within. That's part of fulfilling my commitment and desire to elevate and help people rise. It's on the sign. I love it. I use the word because I found that I use it so often in mentoring others. But what was amazing about that quick meeting was, she was saying, what do I do if, there's this accountability, whatever. And the guy just said, he used to be a team owner, and now he's a team coach for Wailopo. And he said, this is a business, and it just like shut down all conversation. And I thought that that was so beneficial. And you're really reminding me of that. Here's our core values. This is a business. It is not a charity. And I think as big of hearts as we can have that puts us in a person centric industry like sales still has to be, kind of metered by that desire to make sure that there's profitability there. So I want to pivot now. You have spoken significantly and also just briefly in this conversation on the role of AI in real estate and the importance of facts over fluff. What habits, mindsets, or technological practices have helped you maintain that balance between innovation and proven fundamentals? And, what can you tell us about AI? You are our teacher in that right now.
Yeah. It's really crazy because I tell people I'm not this AI guru. I just saw it coming and I spoke and I said this, you're either a viewer or you're a doer. And I don't want to be a viewer because those viewers are probably not going to be successful real estate in the next 3 years, because I've just really started getting into AI and it has evolved so much in the past 6 months, even this year. So you've got to stay up on it. But as I've mentioned multiple times, it's really kind of selfish that I've gotten the AI. My mind goes to efficiency. Is this an efficient process? Is this an efficient use of my time? And it's just come out of necessity because I am a single mom. I have 2 children. I have to pick and choose what I want to do, what I have to do, what I am able to do, what I'm capable to do. And I'm just always looking for things to help me be better, be a better realtor, be a better mom, be a better human, friend, whatever that may look like. And so I learned very, very quickly. I started off, I'm an Android girl. So I started off using Gemini for everything and really, really loved that. And then I was speaking on a panel and when I really saw how much you can curtail ChatGPT and building out these GPTs to mimic myself as a mother, as as a business owner, as a house manager, as a fitness trainer, whatever that may look like, I was like, okay, we are so on to something that this is going to be the most efficient way and use of my time to come in here. And it's been so instrumentally helpful for me in my own personal growth. ChatGPT has a counselor. It is insane, Heather. I don't know if you, I mean, it is, I cannot even begin to tell you.
My mind is blown just listening to you. It is.
Yeah.
So here's what I can say. And I love this part of the conversation because everyone, I think, is starting to scratch the surface of this. A year ago, my agents were already asking ChatGPT to get help, or writing emails. They were in on this, or they were asking Google or whatever. They were in on this quite early, and I noticed. I actually told them, "Hey, you guys need to read that before you send them out." And when I say my agents, what I mean are my, millennial and younger. They're the groups that I always say they're born with an iPhone in their mouth. And this is it's wildly different for them. They adopt technology so easily and they trust it actually so easily, which is why I had to remind them, please critically read this because one of the emails, one of them was about to send out, literally had a HUD violation in it. I was going, hey guys, you're going to have to read this.
Follow fair housing, fair housing. But if you train housing,
and like I said, please remember, you have the real estate license and the fiduciary duty. This ChatGPT thing does not. So you always have to think critically about that. But what you just said, so I'm Android user as well. I haven't used Gemini a lot. I have started to use ChatGPT. I mean, everything from designing a giant mural on a wall, for one of our building expansions earlier this year, designing this logo behind me. And, we take it and then we really, do some PDF stuff to it or whatever, Adobe. My ops person does that. That's not my skill set. But yeah, literally, how to launch a podcast, it's incredible. But what you're talking about is even beyond that. And I certainly need to take more time. But yes, you can train it to know you.
Yeah. And you build GPTs, and that's kind of what I started. I host the Ladies Collective, and we had a guest on there, Katie, and she really helped us give us a worksheet. It was very time consuming, but it was so worth it just so that you can really create these GPTs and they start spitting things out just like you. I told you I'm an avid Diet Coke Diet Coke drinker. I don't drink coffee. Don't ever say anything about drinking coffee because I don't ever drink coffee. Or, just remembering my children's ages and what they enjoy and what they're doing. But I think that that's a really great place to start. And I really started building those out. But you talking about the emails, Heather, I don't know if you've used Fixer.
Fixer is the game changer. I
Oh my
love
goodness
Fixer.
gracious. So EXP gives that to cappers and icons. And I was very reluctant because I had some feedback and I have 7 people in my email at all times. I get like 1,000 emails a day. And I was really reluctant. Forget it. Hands down, one of my favorite using Fixer because it has saved me so much time and energy. But here's the thing. AI is phenomenal. It will never and can never replace the relationship aspect. There's got to be a human component. Use it as a tool. Do not use it to replace you. And I think that people get fearful about AI. And listen, I use it a lot and I'm teaching about it a lot. Sometimes it does kind of freak me out. Sometimes I'm just like, oh man, today I was talking to my service advisor. I knew it was AI. And I'm just like, man, are we ever going to know what this between AI and human capabilities ever from here on out? But Fixer drafts emails and it pulls from your other emails. Mine is really getting to know me right now. I've been using it for about 2 months right now, and it will pull statistics. Yes, we sent you that email on, August 1st, and here's this attached. Here's this. Here's that. So it's been phenomenal. It's made my main virtual assistant, which I'm a huge virtual assistant. I have 6 of them. It's made his life so much easier, so much more that I'm like, okay, what are you doing with the extra time that you're not drafting emails for me?
Yes, exactly. Yes. And I absolutely can share with you, Fixer. I heard Glenn Sanford on a stage say, do this thing. It's changed. He says, change my whole relationship to my email. And I, technophobe perhaps that I may be, man, I loaded that thing on there. I'm so glad. I've never ever used, I don't think I've ever used any app that quickly, that easily, that seamlessly contributed to my daily time
Yes.
stuck
It's
and
crazy.
literally changed everything. I've got to look at it, obviously, but man, it'll propose 3 options on an email. You pick one, change
Yeah.
2 words, it's gone.
Yes. And
Yeah,
also
this is
the time. I
amazing.
have my personal VA. The personal VA that I have was always managing my calendar, my time. Now Fixer literally responds back if someone says, "Hey, I need to meet you for a coffee." It gives me three slots on my calendar. It's synced. So those types of things are just insane. But there's a lot in real estate that I use. I also, like I mentioned to you, use the counseling one. I just started working out this year. She is the best. I mean, hey, I only want to do 30 minutes of cardio. These are my target areas. What do I need to do? I hate doing this exercise. What else? There's ones that people have built, the GPTs that they've built. The counseling one is phenomenal for parenting advice, for relationship advice. I like to analyze text messages. I'm in the dating world. So I'm like, sometimes like, hey, what's going on here? It is so crazy using it to analyze documents. I analyzed my divorce decree and made it build a calendar for, a possession calendar, or, giving me important dates for my contracts. There's just so many things that you can do. Don't feel overwhelmed by it. Start with the big ones. ChatGPT is a perfect place for you to start. Pay for it.
Yes,
It is well worth your weight in gold. It's weight in
definitely.
gold. And then start. And if you don't know how to do something, you ask ChatGPT.
Yes,
That's it. People are like,
yes,
oh, you just ask it. That's what you do.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so instead of Googling everything, you can see people are starting to do that. But it's also important as a business owner to start adapting it and to start feeding it. I have one chat GPT that's my me. It's my Brittany Stewart GPT. And it's got all of my YouTube videos, all of my podcasts, all of my teachings, all of my trainings. I've loaded my emails just to really started to learn who I am, in that sense, so that I can use that for social media, for anything that you can think of. But just start small, start somewhere. And that would be my suggestion, is to start training one chat GPT to help you. But remember my tactic: start by teaching it to do the things that you don't like to do and that you're not good at.
look at your weaknesses and have it help you and leverage that area. Fantastic. And I literally just had sort of an aha because I've got a video series for onboarding for my team, as well as guides for, how to get a buyer through a sale, how to get a seller. And I think that would be a wonderful one to create a team GPT, train it, and then, somehow share that out or something to our team so that they can then go directly and ask that. So
Yep. And
I'm
when
going
they
to
go
implement that.
they can do it, and you can make it speak in the tone if you're a coach and you love what Tom
Yeah.
Ferry says, make it take
Mhm.
on some of that persona of Tom
Mhm.
Ferry or whoever it may be. So,
Yes.
definitely it is endless possibilities there,
Yeah.
endless possibilities.
Endless. Absolutely endless. Yes, and I think really, to kind of sum that conversation, Glenn had said, our CEO had said from the stage, there are the people who are, adopting, the agents who are adopting and kind of co-using AI, and then the ones who are not. And there's gonna be if you look 5 years from now, the ones who are co-using it are going to have a much more robust business, than those who are not. And 10 years from now, you know, you might just kind of say that, you may not be in business if you're not at least adopting it. He likened it to when the MLS changed over, from flip
Paper.
books in
Yeah.
offices and paper, to the MLS. So, to an online system. All right. So what from just pivoting, on real life and balance, I know real estate can easily take over your calendar. How do you create and protect boundaries personally, so that you can lead your business, support your team, and still prioritize your kids, in your
Yes.
personal life?
Yeah, I live by the calendar. If it's not on my calendar, it does not exist, and we've heard that so many times, but I started by protecting my time a little bit remember, I'm a pleaser. So, I started first by protecting my Sunday mornings. I like to go to church, and I was constantly that was getting whiffed right off my calendar to go to showings, to do an open house, to do things like that, and I said, "It's not gonna happen." I also have kid time. I have appointments typically from 6 to 8, Monday, Tuesday, and Friday, and those appointments are with my children. Nobody needs to know that, but I am a mom first and foremost, and my kids will not care how many houses I sold. They don't care how many houses I sold, even though I try to involve them in my goals. They care how present of a parent I am. That's what they care for. So I think doing that, and then also leveraging anything that you can leverage. Grocery shopping. I always order my groceries. I have a cleaner. All those little minimalist things. Laundry service, whatever that looks like to you, do it. Put it in your calendar. I am now have been working on integrating time for self care, and I've only been doing this 21 years, and I'm finally getting the gist of it. But schedule those massages, schedule your nails to get done, schedule time with girlfriends. Put it on your calendar and block it. And Fixer won't schedule you if your calendar's blocked, and my assistants know not to do that either. And so I think that it's very important to time block, but to give yourself permission. I think that there's a lot of guilt in being an entrepreneur, and we focus on the success so much that give yourself permission. It's okay to take time off. It's okay. It's okay to go to the gym. It's okay to not want to get up with your feet hitting the floor on fire every day. That's okay. And it took me in my 40s to figure that out, but I think that it is important for a good balance so that you don't get burnt out.
Yeah, so good. So much good stuff there. From your perspective, what do people often misunderstand, or maybe even kind of miss opportunity, fail to leverage about being a female in a leadership position? What inherent strengths, or benefits are there to being a female in a leadership position? In fact, even with a company like EXP that's so rapidly growing.
Right. I think that having confidence and faith in yourself that you can do it, and also giving yourself permission to do things. I think sometimes we, as women, self sabotage a little bit, and you get infested with that guilt of I've got to be a great wife, I've got to be a good mom, I've got to do all these things. How do I have the opportunity and position to be a successful entrepreneur? I think that the world is changing, and I think you've got to give yourself permission to do it and set your mind to it, chunk it down, have Chat GPT chunk it down. It doesn't matter. You can do it, but I think constantly chiseling away, working towards being that. There's nothing more that I love, and Heather, you probably see this too. EXP is phenomenal about they say we want to hear from a woman, and I love it. Fast Forward is really big about doing it too. Ladies, speak up, because you do see a lot of men in real estate, a lot of men who are entrepreneurs who are successful. They can stay at the office till 8 o'clock. They have somebody who's going to help them in life's woes, with their family, or take care of the household things, and they have less maintenance, time required than we do. All of those, but I think believing in yourself and giving yourself permission to get up and say yes and do it.
Yeah. I literally wrote down, ladies, speak up. Uh, you will get the doors open that you open, and f- put yourself forward, and then see what happens. Don't assume that it shouldn't be you. Every person, male, female, anyone, has to at some point get out of their comfort zone and be willing to raise their hand, stand up, speak up, approach the stage, do whatever they're going to do. And so I think that was such a good kind of call to action. So if you have three non-negotiables that drive growth for you as a business, and for yourself personally, what maybe would those things be? And they can be, books, they can be things you're leveraging, they can be, quiet moments for yourself, whatever that is.
Mhm. The non-negotiables for me are kids. If it doesn't, if it's not going to be beneficial to my kids or my family, it's a no. So I think that that's been a really big one. I think also, if it's out of my values and out of alignment of who I want to represent and show up as I'm representing myself, it's a no. And the other non-negotiable, I'd have to think about that one. I think um, I'm really in this era right now of trusting your gut. I really am, and people ask for advice all the time, and I've been saying this a lot. Trust your gut twice as much as your mind, and I think that I've been in a very reflective state of life, and I think that when I look back on things that I've done that I wish that I had not done, I was not listening to my gut, and I think I've missed out on opportunity when I wanted to. I was listening to my mind too much. I don't be crazy or reckless, but I feel that in my soul right now, both in my business, personal, and as a mom.
Yeah. I think that's fabulous. I have a personal coach that I've had, a brilliant young man that I'll be interviewing here in a few weeks. And yes, he literally taught me more about listening to that inner wisdom. It's funny how, unfortunately at 20, we don't necessarily know that, or maybe we do, and we forget along the way, and then we have to really
You
pick that
suppress
back up
it.
again.
You do. You suppress it. I got goosebumps just with
Yeah.
you saying that because it's true.
Yeah.
Trust
Yeah.
yourself. Your
Yeah.
body and your mind and your heart and the characteristics that you've built are so in on point if you just trust them.
Yeah. In some ways, I think in that way, children have so much more wisdom than us, or innate wisdom. We kind of cover it over and forget about it sometimes. But it's almost like, when you're really trusting that inner influence, or inner gut, like you say, or inner wisdom, you could be going back to, your 13 or 15, or 8-year-old self that goes, hey, I truly am, or I want to do this. So all right, you've already built an award-winning real estate group and expanded your influence as a speaker and an educator. What is next for you? What impact or legacy, personal, professional, do you hope to leave in the real estate industry and beyond? And also, how can people reach you and, tap into the wisdom and the classes and AI or whatever that you are teaching?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that what's next for me is passing the torch to the next generation. I'm really invested right now. I have a younger team, and I'm really invested in changing their life. And that's by teaching them how to be entrepreneurs and how to be professional, and how this can really, really change the trajectory of your life. I'm from a very small town, voted the worst city in the state of Florida, very impoverished, low economic status, and and I want to teach people how there's just a bigger world out there. You don't have to do that. So that's been my mission right now, is really getting everything that's in my brain, not only in the chat GPT, but into my agents. I tell them all the time, Mama wants to retire. Who's going to take over this business? So I'm spending a lot of time and energy investing into the next generation of realtors for sure, as well as I am doing a lot of speaking and teaching engagements too. I love that platform because I wish that I had a mentor that I try to show up as the mentor I wish that I had. And someone who was just directly and honest and gave you the fluff and didn't say, oh, this great peachy rainbow world. It's not. Real estate is tough, but it is oh so rewarding if you can get through the grit and hustle and show up every day for it. And the way that people can find me is my Facebook is maxed out and has been, but it's Brittany Stewart Realtor. Don't tell NAR, it's not trademarked. But on Instagram, I have two phenomenal marketing directors. There is very thin filter. She has access to all of my photos, and we talk and plan around a lot of fun stuff on social media. So find me, follow me on social media first and foremost. And if you're in the Dallas area, we host and I co-host in real life events, usually at Metrotex every month. So we are doing that. I'm hosting a social media one. I'm emceeing a social media one on August 20th. And then August 21st, right here in McKinney, Texas at my office, because people keep asking me to do so, I'm sharing my AI tech deck. So it doesn't have to be specific to real estate, but it gives you my top tools that I'm using that business owners could use, or heck, anybody could use it to make their lives a lot easier.
This is fantastic. And I guess my question on that is, are you going to record that and throw it up on the internet or something where someone out of state could potentially
Yes, that's a
use
great
that,
idea.
or even Zoom it, because I'll put you on the big screen here in my training room, and we'll watch right along with
Yes,
you.
I will do that.
So
I will Zoom it, Heather. I always give this preface though. My team is quite funny and sarcastic, so I just have to tell them to be on their best behavior. But yeah, we have Zoom set up in our training room too. So I love that, and I'll absolutely share it with you.
that fantastic. Yeah. Give me a calendar link and we're there. Well, Brittany, I just want to thank you so much. This has been phenomenal. I appreciate you so much as a person, as an entrepreneur, as a woman, as a mom. I just, you are, shining like a bright star, and I just can't wait to see what you do next. I know you will have a lot of people hanging on your coattails and lucky enough to follow you. So I appreciate you, and thank you for joining us today.
Yes. Likewise, Heather. Thank you.
Well, folks, that's it for today's podcast. Thank you so much for joining us on Women Who Rise, the success podcast for ambitious women. Today, Brittany taught us number one, strategic partnerships. Make sure that you are able to utilize people who are going the direction you're going. She had multiple partners that became friends, and they now refer to each other throughout the U.S. When they decided to move brokerages, they did it together. They made sure that they were aligning their business goals, and that partnership stays strong today. Also focus on blessings. Look at what is working for you. Look at the silver lining. Focus on your blessings and your joys. I think that was so instructive, because you can focus on the negative. You can focus on the things that are stressing you with any business you have. But honestly, you've got to take a moment to focus on those blessings and joys of what you do. Protecting your core values and mapping them. So this was huge. Literally taking the time, doing a retreat, doing a getaway, whatever you're going to do, take a day and fully sit down, realize and map out your core values. This is huge. There are many ways that you can leverage doing that. You can leverage a coach. There are programs for this. You can also ask ChatGPT to help you with it. So that leads me to one of our other points, and that is use AI. So she talked a lot about custom ChatGPTs, being able to get those knowing you. So she had a ChatGPT for being a mom. She had one for herself as an entrepreneur. She has another one for her desires to get fit and work out. So these are all different custom ChatGPTs she's built out. She's trained this machine learning model to know what it is at its core that she needs it to know, so that she can ask it questions and ask it to give her solutions and suggestions. This is unbelievable. This is a massive game changer. I've used it to create graphics and all kinds of things. I have a podcast version of a ChatGPT. It is amazing. Next, Fixer AI for your emails. So again, she trains on AI. She's been an early adopter of a lot of this. I can attest, Fixer FYXERAI is a massive game changer for your email. If you don't have it, you got to get it immediately. It is incredible. If you're an EXP and you're a capper, that's something that you will get when you cap. The corporation has kind of gone all in on this. It is incredible. It will suggest lots of solutions to you. I would definitely make sure that it's aligned with your calendar so it can help you. And then consider fractional use of, director of ops or other roles in your business that you need help with. Consider dividing that expense up. So if you have a $100,000, $200,000 a year job that you need to fill and you need someone very high quality, consider receiving a fraction of their time, and that would be literally them dividing up their time in a percentage and then giving some of their time to other businesses and being able to really benefit from this person. Again, having partnerships or utilizing companies that do fractional use would be amazing. And then basically live and die by your calendar. This is what Brittany said. Use it to understand and to be able to plug in what is important to you personally, what is important to you professionally. This is how she's getting her work-life balance. She's using her calendar, and what's on her calendar gets done every day. What is not, does not. So if she wants to work out, if she wants to have 2 hours at night with her kids, that is uninterrupted. If she wants to go to church on Sunday, as she mentioned, that goes on her calendar. So that's it for today. Visit our website to find our episode guide and worksheet that will help you use these tips to take action in your own life. Like and subscribe and join us everywhere podcasts are streamed. We can't wait to bring you more incredible content every week so that you can rise in your own lives and careers. Again, thank you so much. Heather Mansy, signing off.